Yeah, I think myself and the incredible young men and women who are joining me are up, waiting for the thumbs up. Okay. Okay. Ethan and Nate. We go to gallery view. We can actually see everybody. Um, all the young men and women. Bryson, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Mari, Jenny, Lila. I can make sure I'm connecting it. All right. Who else do we have? I heard we got to get all the students. We need to get them on the screen. Tessa. Good to see you. Awesome.
Hi.
Excellent. All right. Who are we missing here? Are we missing anybody? I think we got everybody here. Caroline. Is Caroline here? Let's make sure she's getting into the mix here. We want to make sure everybody's represented. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so we're doing gallery view because I want everybody to be able to see who's on here. And as was just discussed earlier, Antonio, who's one of his biggest fans, doing some incredible work, trying to raise and lift the voice of young men and women, and how they are wanting and seeking out opportunity to design and pursue lives they want to live. He's introduced me to the work at Olympic High School, where that school and Mike Raylon and others who you'll hear from later have given opportunity for these young men and women. The same is true at BB Caps, just out Kansas City, and we've got Sammy Soda and IDA schools in Tacoma. So we're going Tacoma, outside Kansas City, to Charlotte, North Carolina today. And I'm going to shut up because we got to hear from these guys. I don't know who to pick first. Bryson, you just graduated. You gave the commencement speech
Yes, sir. I
online,
just
which was
graduated.
kind of weird, right? But
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
let's get right into it, right? We got about a half an hour to talk about when school serves you, what is possible, and how has Olympic changed, you think, the trajectory or future of your life? How did it make an impact for you?
Okay, so Olympic definitely changed the trajectory of my life. Just because when I came in high school as a freshman, I didn't really have a plan. I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I knew I kind of wanted to do something with business and finance. And Olympic offered me the executive leadership and entrepreneur development pathway. With that, I progressed through my freshman, sophomore, junior, senior years, and I got a chance to intern at KPMG. It's a big four accounting firm. I don't know if many people know it or not, but I got the chance to intern at KPMG this summer prior to my junior year and this summer prior to my senior year. So that was 2 summers in a row, and that just really taught me the importance of professionalism, the importance of actually getting out there and taking initiative. One of the biggest things I think I learned from one of the biggest things that I think that I learned from taking initiative and actually having the chance to getting access to like a professional work environment was definitely the importance of maintaining professionalism. You don't really learn professionalism in school. You may learn in school. You may learn you learn a lot, but you don't necessarily learn how to how to be in a professional environment at school. That's one thing that most schools lack. And I feel like I learned that through my KPMG internship.
Yeah, what's next? What's next for you?
Next, I'll be majoring in economics at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in the fall. Go Tar Heels.
Jenny, let's roll over to you. Also from Olympic High School, but I think you graduated maybe a year or two ago. If I get that right?
Yep, 2018.
Yeah. So game changer or no?
For sure. I think I agree with Bryson. When I came into high school, I didn't really know what I was going to do or what career I was going to follow. But the thing about Olympic is that they want to make sure that you are career and college ready. And so there were so many different classes that I could have taken, so many different programs that I participated in at Olympic that made me both career and college ready. And so now I'm going into my third year in this engineering apprenticeship program with a local business called Unger USA. And the good thing about this is that Olympic High School gave me an advantage over my peers, and I was able to secure in the apprenticeship program where it's a work while you learn kind of program where you go to school and they pay for your schooling. And on top of the fact that you're receiving a paycheck and full benefits from this job. And so with Olympic High School, all of the classes that they provide, I can apply directly to my job. Any of the software that I learned, the hands-on skills, the soft skills that I gained at Olympic, I'm able to use in my career and my education. And so the biggest thing about Olympic is making sure that you are career and college ready. And so they also provided AP classes that I could have taken and transferred over as I moved into a higher education. Um, I was more than ready to step into my career right now with the help of Olympic and their project-based learning.
Olympic High School is in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm paying attention to the chat window. And by the way, everybody, get in the chat if you have questions for these young men and women, because we're going to engage in those conversations momentarily after a brief introduction. So, and my colleague Lydia Young, who you've heard from earlier today, is going to be monitoring that and maybe asking some questions. So if you guys have specific questions, get on the chat and ask. But I'm going to stick with Charlotte here for a moment. Bryson, in elementary school or even middle school, you were thinking, I really want to go into economics. This is the cat's meow. I cannot wait. I am ready to get into economics. That's what you were thinking, right?
Funny thing is, I looked at my vision board from 8th grade, and like, okay, so some like my top three, I had lawyer. I don't know why I had lawyer. I had lawyer, for some reason, talk show host, and an NBA player. That's that's how my trajectory changed. If you want an example.
Yeah. For the good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what about vision board? You said you just mentioned vision board. What is that?
A vision board, I think it kind of deals with the law of attraction. How if you write something down and then you see it, you're more likely to obtain it, because if something's in front of your face. Like, let's just say easy goal, like I want to lose 5 pounds. Let's say I write that on my wall or on my vision board, and then I'll see that every day as I walk out the house, and I'm going to be more likely to lose 5 pounds just because it's in front of your face. It's something that you see every day.
So that's something that they do at Olympic a lot.
Mm-hmm. I made a vision board. I made a vision board I know I made a vision board at Olympic. I forgot what class it was in specifically, but they definitely do give you the importance of writing down your goals. I actually remember taking a career assessment, a career cruising assessment. That's what it's called. I remember taking that, and that kind of gave me a leg up and really helped me choose my not career, but I guess my major in economics.
Jenny, okay, same question though, a little different. Elementary school, middle school, you were definitely saying, I want to be an engineer. Maybe you were. I don't know. Tell me, is that true or no?
No, I had no idea what I was going to do.
Okay.
I came in, Olympic at the time was a career school, so that we were made out of 5 different career academies. And so I just heard, like, hear tell that METS, or the Math, Engineering, Technology, and Science School, was the best school. And so I decided to just go with that. And plus a lot of my friends were joining too. But then I realized that there was a lot more to it. I made it like the best school that people were talking about the most because of the Project Lead the Way classes. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but the main focus of those are you're learning through project-based learning. And so also to answer Dan Jackson in the comments, the classes that the exact classes that helped me prepare for my career was these Project Lead the Way classes. You had Intro to Engineering Design, you had Principles of Engineering, advanced manufacturing classes. The very specific thing that Olympic is kind of known for is a machine shop. We had a full scale machine shop with CNC machines, milling machines that we students were able to use and gain hands-on practice with. And so those I directly apply to my job right now because there's a machine shop. I'm working for a manufacturing company, and I can apply those skills that I learned. And you can. We also learned about design software and writing code, and that also was really helpful in helping me prepare for my career. Olympic also has a robotics program that I also joined, and that um, was built like a business. You had your marketing department, you had your design department, and your building or manufacturing department. And so we all, anybody that joined the robotics team, got to get that hands-on experience, both with technical skills and soft skills.
Was important to do? I mean, to have it right. I mean, why not just go to class? Why do you have to actually have a robotics outfit or an engineer? You know, what's the value of that?
Um, it engages students, I would say, is probably the biggest thing. You know, English class might not be the most interesting, no shade here, but if you have a class that you can do hands-on and you are actively engaging, then you you can learn.
Cool, cool. All right, all right. I know time is going fast, man. There's so many good things here going on. All right, we're gonna roll over to the Midwest. Uh, uh, Lila, let's have you jump in, and hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. If
You
I'm not,
did.
yeah, you can.
Hi, I'm Lila Carter. I'm from Blue Valley Caps. I went to a private high school called Tacoma, and then spent half my senior year at Blue Valley Caps campus. And there I was enrolled in the Global Food Industry program and was able to learn so many different things. I gained so many just incredible different experiences, not only just throughout the curriculum, but also just through the internships and projects I was allowed to kind of search out myself and obtain myself. And I think that was a really great thing that Blue Valley Caps provided for me, which was a way for me to kind of self-advocate and then find opportunities for myself to pursue. Some of the coolest internships and projects I was able to while I was at Blue Valley Caps. I was able to do some research with an immunologist at Children's Mercy, um, which kind of led me into my interest in not only immunology, but just bioscience in general. And that propelled me to the spring, where I had an internship with Kansas State University Bioscience Lab, where I was able to have my own pet project working on microbial reduction methods. And that set me up for my current job as an account data analyst with Synexus. So it's really not anything that I could have ever imagined happening from just a class you enroll in at your school. And the initial having to advocate for yourself to get into the program, and then being able to find these cool opportunities and then really chase them down was a really powerful thing that CAPS taught me. And it's just one of the most powerful things that's carried with me from CAPS. And even in college, being able to look at things a little bit differently and say, I don't have to just have this normal college experience. If I want to, take a year, move my classes online, and go do some internships, request some internship credit hours, that happen if you're willing to advocate for yourself and be, disrupting of your own destiny and finding what works for you and being curious of what's going to work for you and just going at it.
Wow. Well, that's. I mean, Antonio and Lydia and my colleague Dr. Thompson, the rest of us, and whenever when I get super excited, I don't want to get Corey Mona in the mix because he gets too hyper about this stuff. I got to keep him cool down here because I would say that one of the most greatest or benefits for this is that it's assisting and supporting high school students to gain a sense of agency and to create their own possibilities. And it sounds like your ability to have agency and be able to pursue what you want to pursue and design what you want to design is is amazing. Also with Bryson and Jenny, let's go over to Caroline.
Yes, hello everyone. It's nice to see some familiar names. I am a BB Caps alumni. I am outside of Kansas City, and right now I'm going to school at Colorado School of Mines in Golden, Colorado. I'm studying materials and metallurgical engineering. Unlike a lot of the panelists, I don't know if this is a unique experience for some or not, but I always knew I wanted to be an engineer, which might be kind of unique, but I grew up just being really interested in STEM. So I moved to Kansas City actually my freshman year of high school, and I heard about CAPS, and I thought, well, that would be perfect. It'll be, you know, I'll get more education in the technical knowledge of engineering and things like that. And it was not at all what I expected, and I'm really grateful for that. I think, you know, Chris, you mentioned earlier, why not just take the classes, you know, and get that textbook knowledge that we all need to become engineers or whatever you're going to pursue in your career. But as a BB Caps alum, I was able to really pursue what I wanted to do and what I was interested in. And the biggest takeaway I had from being in CAPS, I was in CAPS, I think, both my first semester and my second semester of my senior year of high school. So I had the opportunity to be there for a full year, but being in CAPS really taught me how to be proactive. And I think, you know, going to college, and the other panelists that have graduated college or in college can probably agree that you have to take hold of what you want to do. And no one's going to, you know, take your hand and say, okay, this is how you do this, or these are the connections you're going to make in college. You know, I have been actively pursuing what I want to do through the knowledge that I do have to be proactive, and that my experience in CAPS was, okay, Caroline, you're interested in materials engineering, which no one knew what that meant. And they were all like, we do like civil and robotics. But all of my instructors at CAPS and the engineering track were like, okay, let's figure out how we can get you in contact with different industry professionals to talk to people about what you're interested in. So I was able to make those professional connections, learn how to talk to professionals, learn how to talk to businesses. And I think that was the most important thing for me, is that it might not be exactly what you want to do. I didn't want to do exactly robotics or specifically civil engineering, but I just had the opportunity to really take reign of what I wanted to learn about and just go for it. And I had that support, and that was really important to me.
Yeah, Colorado School of Mines, huh?
Yeah, power diggers.
Hey, Dr. Unger, there's some questions happening
Yeah.
in the chat box that I think would be interesting for folks. So there's a lot of conversation about the experiential and the profession-based experiences, right? But what about the core classes? What about the math teachers, the English teachers? How can they get involved? And then similarly, or connected, if you will, how do you show this type of preparation to your university app or through your university applications? Would love to hear some about that, and just reflecting back some of the questions.
Great. Who wants to, how about one or two you take a stab at? I want to make sure to get the Mari and the Tessa too. But Bryson and the others who've spoken already, you have a answer from on those things? How's it connect to core classes?
I can take this one. The first thing that comes to mind for me when we're talking about core classes versus, you know, doing more of a learning experience like CAPS or another program is just, it was really important to me in high school when my teachers gave me real world applications and they talked about that in class, right? Because it's so important to learn all the math, the basic math and calculus and chemistry or English and all those things. Okay, how am I going to apply this? That was the biggest thing for me, because right, so they're not going to say, okay, we're going to go partner with this company. There's not time to do that in core classes, but just teaching, okay, when you're going to go on into the field, this is what you can do, this is what it can apply to. And I think that that was the most useful for me personally.
Jenny?
I can think of one example specifically in high school where there was, I guess, cross-departmental projects. So there was this one project that I had to do for one of my PLTW classes called the Shark Tank. and we had to actually go in front of a company and pitch an idea of what we could do with their product. And that kind of incorporated English. Like our teacher made sure that our English teachers knew about our project going on and help us prepare for that by practicing speeches and practicing our pitch. And so I guess what's important is that all of the departments have to work together to make sure that the students are able to apply what they learn later on. And yeah, and I just
That's
think
cool.
that effort is important.
Right, Lila, go for it.
And I couldn't agree more that teachers in the classroom are they're so valuable in teaching us how to construct very logical thought. And I had a Latin teacher my freshman year of high school who still to this day I think of almost every single day, especially when a volume of workload comes in that's just, enormous. Teachers can, instill in you the value of being on top of things, being on time, doing things with, the utmost detail and precision and accuracy, and staying on top of things, and really encouraging professionalism in everything that you do. If it's English, if it's math, if it's, at theology classes, whatever it is, you have to be professional about it and you need to be timely about it. And I think that that's a really important, valuable skill that everyone can, bring for everyone.
All right, I'm gonna jump over, Bryce. I'm gonna hold you for a second here because I want to make sure to get Mari and Tessa into the mix. Mari, I'm gonna go with you. Oh, we're going to Tacoma. Woo! Beautiful area, the Northwest. Mari, introduce yourself and tell the little quick story about how you were a student, I think, at SAMI, the Science and Math Institute, there in the largest state park, I believe, in Washington State, next to the zoo with a marine science vessel. You did original research and so forth. But then you left, and now you're back. Tell us, what's behind this experiential learning in terms of your own trajectory, not only being a student, but now being a teacher in that same high school system.
Yeah, so being part of a first graduating class, there was a lot of setup of like how to build a school and how to create classroom communities. And that was so key to feeling a part of something, which created a lot of buy-in for students to want to explore and challenge ourselves. And that really shaped my own views of education and learning. I went to pretty traditional elementary and middle schools that had a pretty fixed mindset. And then going to a more innovative high school showed me growth mindset and really the limits and amazing possibilities that public education can do. I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, but I got a lot of on-hands opportunities through peer-to-peer tutoring. I got to intern with the district to get more experience in education. And then I went off to college. And then I was able to come back to my own learning community. And it was amazing to be a first-year teacher in such a supportive environment. Being able to work with people who were your teachers and that are now your coworkers, as well as just have a better understanding of how to connect with students. Relationships are so important.
Right. So what you would say with this kind of interesting lens of being a student and then coming back and being an educator, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. So you don't have to be perfect, okay? Because I always say it's not about being perfect, it's about learning. What would you say are probably the 2 or 3 most important things that experiential learning affords you as a student and as a teacher?
I think one of them is probably the ability to have to self-advocate. There is no exact direct pathway that someone leads out for you. They don't hand you a list of things and say, take these 17 classes and you're going to magically be a physicist. You have to be able to navigate that pathway for yourself. You have to learn to fail forward and be okay with messiness, be okay with asking all of those questions. And I think the third thing is being able to market yourself and your own skills. And that's definitely a skill that I'm still working on personally. But you have, your professional skills, but also those soft skills that can be so key.
Wow, fantastic. Well, we heard that from a number of the young women and women here. Tessa, we're rolling over at Boise. I didn't mean to jump over you, but let's go back to Boise. Beautiful area, although I heard it's been hot out there. Tessa, any of this stuff ring true to you? And what you're at a place called One Stone. Everybody should check that out, onestone.org. But Tessa, experiential learning, important?
Hi, Chris. Yes, experiential learning is incredibly important. It is what encouraged me to study what I am today. So I'm currently a student at the University of Colorado Boulder, studying political science and environmental studies. Before that, I truly had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I had a lot of little interests in things, but truly had no drive to figure out what I was passionate about that I could potentially make into a future career. Um, like Mari, I went to a traditional elementary and junior high, and I have nothing against the public school system. I think it's actually incredible. I think what teachers are doing is really, really powerful and inspiring. They're trying their hardest. My mom is a public school teacher, so it's actually pretty intense when I took that leap of faith to join One Stone, which is an experiential learning school in Boise, Idaho that was actually kickstarting their lab school the year I joined. So I was, like Mari, part of the first graduating class. So we were building this network and this school and this environment together. It was pretty rad. I'm not gonna lie. I loved every second of it, and I wish I could go back and just experience more. Now that I'm out of it, I miss it so much. But I am so thankful for the opportunities I had at One Stone. Some of the greatest things One Stone had to offer is we had advisors. So in groups of maybe 10 or so students, you have an advisor that you get to work with really closely. They get to know you on a deeper level than a lot of just other advisors or coaches would. And they help you kind of map out what you're interested in and if you should maybe pursue a course or something. My advisor, Chad Carlson, was a pretty awesome human being. I miss him a lot. I text him all the time, just little updates when I'm at school. And he encouraged me to take this constitutional law class, and ended up being my favorite course I ever took at One Stone. It was a course I had known absolutely nothing about, and it encouraged me to pursue my internship that summer at the Idaho Department of Commerce, and actually interest me in law. And that's why I'm studying political science with the hopes of potentially going to law school one day. I truly don't think I would have ever taken that course had I been in a traditional setting, due to the fear of failing, of not doing as well as I really wanted. At One Stone, we don't have grades or tests to kind of judge yourself on, which is something I miss quite a bit while being at school. But it was all about the growth that you experience during that course and the learning you go through. So at the end of the course, you can really reflect upon what you've learned rather than looking back at a letter grade to prove that you've learned something. So I think that through One Stone, I was really encouraged to just pursue things that I maybe not traditionally would, which ended up working really well in my favor. So
That's fantastic. So I want to say a couple of things, and Lydia, see if there's other. We have only 5 minutes or so, but yeah. What I've heard a couple of things, and I want to see if you could add to it. I've heard that maybe one of the biggest things that these schools are providing you with is sort of like saying, "Hey, what are you interested in? What might you like to pursue? What might you like to learn? Oh, can I help you? Let me figure out." And this has been said a lot because I've interviewed a lot of, "Oh, let me put you in touch with this person," or "Why don't you reach out to this organization," or "Why don't you work with them?" So, apart from the content and the skills, how important is that experience and the relationship you have in that community in helping you think about you as a person growing up and coming to be something in the world? That's a big question. I don't know who wants to go with that.
Uh, I'll go.
Great,
All
great,
right.
Nathan, go.
So I guess that you said like choosing what you like. So I guess that's really important. It's also important to find out what you don't like and what you don't know how to do. Because like my freshman year, I took a foods class, realized I didn't know how to cook. So it really is important to just learn what you like, don't like, and that could really guide you into like learning. It really helps in the classroom, especially with classes that may connect to your major or whatever you do. Like I took an accounting course, I took a principles of business and finance course. So that really does bridge the gap between the real world and the classroom.
Mm. Any others? Comments?
I can go. So um, the the whole mentoring program kind of thing reminds me, just going back to robotics, where all of the mentors that we had for the different teams were volunteers from local businesses. And so for our design team, you would have maybe an engineer from Rexroth Bosch who is helping you design this robot for the tournament. And so um, having that mentor there who's from the real world, who's actually actively working in that field, definitely made you look at what you're doing in a different lens, because you're like, oh, you can apply this to the real world. I didn't know that. And you learn so much more by interacting with people who are in the industry and everything, and you just learn so much in that sense.
Mm. Lydia, I have a couple things I wanted to say, but Lydia, any particular questions popping up that you would like to ask?
Well, I think one of the things that I'm hearing a lot of is, or in the chat box is, how do we convince stakeholders that these are valuable experiences where kids aren't having to choose a pathway, they get stuck on a track, or that it closes the door to a university education, or it closes the door to work and education. And I'd just love to hear about the alum, the panelists, like, how did you engage your parents and your family in taking this risk in many ways to follow these paths?
I really had no issue engaging my parents and being supportive of me taking these risks, because every single one of the risks I took were amazing. And with with Blue Valley Caps, they really helped you not only select good opportunities, but helped not even hold your hand. They were there to help you and support you as you took those risks. And even the first time I asked an immunologist for some time to meet and discuss, a research project, Mr. Whalen was right there alongside me as I was typing out my email for the first time. And he said, "Hey, don't use that word, phrase it like this." And those kinds of mentorship, that kind of help is so little, but it has such a big impact, because if it weren't for having a mentor like that with you, as a 16-year-old, as a 17-year-old, you're just not comfortable doing a lot of things just completely on your own. So you need to have your parents' support and you need to have your mentor's support, just because there's little turns of phrases you don't always know in an email, and what's the most professional way to phrase something. And it's really great to have mentorship and support from both sides.
Mm. One other last comment really quickly on that. How did it propel you forward in getting into the university or career that you want? Anybody?
Yeah,
Caroline?
I can go. Sure. So I think for me, like Lila just said, like having that support, it made me feel confident enough, and knowing people were on my side to randomly email, different engineers at companies in Kansas City and be like, hey, I'd love to learn about what you do. And I had the opportunity to get connections through my instructors and other adults at CAPS that really cared about where I was going. It's how I found out about my college, and now I'm going to an all STEM school, and I absolutely adore it. So I would just say, like Lila said, having that support and knowing that, okay, take the risk, make the leap, reach out to people. And in the end, it turned out really well.
All right, I'm going to close out here with 1 minute. Listen, this is what I think needs to happen. For me now, is Tom Vander Ark is really good about saying, go visit other schools that are doing schooling differently. Guess what? Get everybody to connect with students in these schools and let these students, you don't have to fly there and spend the money. Let's set up some Zoom calls so that students and communities and teachers can hear directly from the students about the impact it's made on their lives. We can do this. We can start this. Corey, Lydia, let's organize it, make it happen over the next year, create the network, go to the students, hear them, see the impact it's made in their lives. Thank you guys. You guys were fabulous. I'm passing it on.
Thank you.
Thank you, panelists,
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your voices tell the stories of what we all hope for all kids, you know, these opportunities to experience. I can't remember which one of you said it, the failing forward, the opportunity to succeed, and a tremendous story to have shared.
Yeah, Lydia, I concur with you, and I actually jotted down some quotes fast and furious as I was listening in. Disrupt your own destiny. Being excited about how this is brought out in us, right? How do we bring this out of ourselves? The idea of students creating their own possibilities. And then, of course, you know, Dr. Unger with the boom energy that he brings, firing things up for us. Oh my gosh, I could have sat, just like the last session on equity and access, I could have sat in that session for a long, long time.